Hello everybody, so today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Billy Graham. I was lucky enough to hear him speak at his crusade when he came here in the 90s, and he is incredible. So on November 7th, 1918, Billy Graham was born in Charlotte, North Carolina. Little did people know that on that day one of the greatest American evangelists was born. Prior to becoming an evangelist, Graham was involved in several Christian organizations and at one point headed up a Christian school. In 1949, Graham was invited to preach at a revival in Los Angeles and on a popular radio show. People connected with him immediately on the radio, which in turn caused a large turnout to the revival. So large, in fact, that the revival was extended for several weeks to accommodate all the people wanting to hear Graham speak. He also caught the attention of the famous publisher William Randolph Hearst, who put him in the spotlight, and that also helped to draw a lot of people to come hear him speak. This revival marked really just the beginning of a very long and successful preaching career. According to the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association website, Graham has preached to more live audiences in the world than any other preacher. Nearly 215 million people from over 185 countries have heard him preach the gospel, and millions more have heard him through several facets of technology, such as television and the internet. He has led thousands of people to Christ, and many U.S. presidents have sought his advice on matters concerning our country. And in just a second, I'm going to give you some fun facts about that. He has also been recognized for his achievements and greatness, not just by religious figures, but secular ones as well. He's been regularly listed by the Gallup organization on their polls as one of the 10 most admired men in the world, and he has been on this poll since 1948. He's published over 30 books, many of which have made the New York Times bestseller list, and he uses modern media or has used it over the years to help further the word and reach many people in different ways. His ability to preach the gospel in all these different ways that connect with people over several generations, it's both inspirational and amazing. Even today, at the age of 98, he's still teaching people about the love of God, and he's leading them to Christ. And one of the most interesting parts of Graham's life and career to me has been his influence on the U.S. presidents, starting with Harry Truman, who in his autobiography, the actual credits, he talks about how his first meeting with Truman was a flop, and he actually apologized for it. But one of the presidents that he had a true influence on was Dwight Eisenhower. He helped convince Eisenhower he should run for president, and then during that time, Eisenhower confided in him he needed to become a member of a church, and through talking with Graham, he decided to be a Presbyterian. And it was during Eisenhower's time in office that the presidential prayer breakfast, now called the National Prayer Breakfast, was started because of Graham's influence. Graham also had an influence on John F. Kennedy. They had to work to get Graham's endorsement. In fact, Graham was going to endorse Nixon, but at the last minute, because of Bobby Kennedy, Graham ended up endorsing Kennedy, and all of this was because people were worried about Catholic influence, and with Graham's help, he got Kennedy elected. Graham was notoriously close to Richard Nixon. Again, he almost endorsed Nixon over Kennedy, and he stayed close with Nixon, encouraged him to run again, and sadly, when Nixon and all the Watergate stuff went down, Graham kind of backed away and decided he would talk with presidents, but he wouldn't be overtly political. So Graham not only has been a great evangelist, he's also kind of had his hand in politics in a way. Really, really fascinating life. Bye, guys.